I showed up at the Mother's Day lunch even though I wasn't invited. Mom looked at me and said, "Don't eat. Just drink water. Your sister paid $3,000 for this." Then my sister added, "Beluga caviar isn't for someone like you." I smiled. She didn't know I had already reversed the charge on my card, the one she used to pay for this lunch. My parrot, Ronnie, on my shoulder, squawked loudly, "Call the lawyer." I left a letter on Mom's chair. She read it, and froze. I had cancelled their expensive vacation. Right after that, my phone lit up, 47 missed calls. I hadn't even wanted to come, but I showed up anyway. The restaurant was bright and shiny, with fancy floors and fake glam chandeliers, just the kind of thing my family loved. Mom sat at the head of the table, smiling big, until she saw me. "Oh. You're here," she said, her voice tight and forced. Victoria, my sister, had planned everything: fancy food, expensive caviar, and sparkling water in crystal glasses. I knew all about it, because I saw the $3,000 charge on my card. The card she borrowed, just for a few essentials. I walked calmly to the table and sat down. Mom's smile faded. "Don't touch the food. Just drink water," she said. "Your sister paid." Victoria laughed, soft and mean. "Beluga caviar isn't for people like you." I looked at her. She was wearing a designer blouse I probably paid for. She leaned back in her chair, smug. But she didn't know what I'd done. I leaned back too. Picked up a silver spoon. "Actually, I will have some," I said, and took a bite of caviar. Victoria's face fell. "Don't you dare," she snapped. "That cost $3,000. "You didn't pay," I said. "My card did." Everything went quiet. Mom's face turned pale. Her fingers shook. Victoria's mouth was tight. "You think you're smart," she said. "I am," I replied. "I reversed the charge yesterday. So you're all eating on my generosity." Victoria's face turned red. "You wouldn't dare." "Oh, I would," I said, taking another bite. "And that's not even the big surprise." I slid an envelope in front of Mom. She opened it. It was proof that I had cancelled their $8,500 vacation. Her hand shook. "No," she whispered. "Yes," I said. "Happy Mother's Day." Then Ronnie shouted again, "Call the lawyer." People nearby turned and stared. Some even smiled. Victoria went pale. My phone buzzed again and again. I didn't need to look, I knew it had started. The anger. The panic. The fallout. I stood up and brushed off my sleeves. "I'd love to stay," I said, "but I think you all have some things to talk about." Victoria jumped up. "You're not important. You're just a..." I didn't hear the rest. I was already walking out. Let them yell. Let them fight. They needed to see I wasn't just a wallet or a quiet joke anymore. Outside, the sun felt warm. The air felt clean. My phone kept buzzing. I turned it off. Later, at home, the messages kept coming. First, Mom. Then again. Then again. I tossed the phone aside. Then Dad called. Angry. "What did you do?" he shouted. "Your mother's crying. You ruined everything. You'll pay us back." I hung up without saying anything. Then came the texts. "Mom, I raised you better. You ruined our day." "Victoria, you're jealous. You ruin everything." "Dad, fix this. Or you're done." I watched the screen flash. I felt calm. No guilt. No sadness. Just quiet. Then the family group chat went wild. "Aunt Linda, how could you? Cousin James, not cool. Family matters. Uncle Rob, your mom's heart can't take this. Are you happy?" Happy? Almost. For once, I didn't feel weak or scared. I wasn't going to apologize. I wasn't cleaning up their mess. I muted the chat, made coffee, and stirred in sugar. As I stood there, something inside me stirred too. Not guilt. Not hate. Something stronger. Like finally waking up. I sat down with my laptop, opened my banking app, and looked through my transactions. It didn't take long to find the truth. There were charges I never made. Victoria had been shopping a lot, expensive stores, spa visits, designer bags. And, of course, the $3,000 Mother's Day lunch. But it didn't stop there. Car rentals. Hotel stays. A $500 charge for a wellness retreat. My hand tightened on the mouse. I opened my email and searched for anything Victoria had sent me. I found a bunch of receipts and confirmations. She had been using my credit card for months, not just for essentials, but for everything. I kept digging. I found an old hard drive, one that used to be Victoria's before she got a new one. I remembered she used to save everything on it. I plugged it in. There was a folder called FAM. Inside were screenshots of chats, voice recordings, and photos. There were messages between Victoria and Mom. They had been working together, planning how to spend my money without me knowing. I played one voice message. It was Mom, sounding calm and sweet. Just tell him it's for something important. He always says yes. Then I played another. It was Victoria, laughing. He's such a fool. I take what I want. He never notices. My vision blurred for a second. My own family. Laughing at me. Using me. But I didn't feel sad. I felt awake, clear. My phone buzzed. A message from Dad. Last chance. Send the money and we'll forget this ever happened. I smiled. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I unmuted the family group chat and started typing. I know what you did. All of it. The money. The lies. And I have proof. Want to see it? The chat went silent. Typing bubbles showed up, then disappeared. Finally, a message from Mom. Sweetheart, let's talk. It's all a misunderstanding. No, I wrote back. It's not. But you'll understand soon. I went back to the hard drive and started organizing everything. Screenshot after screenshot. Voice note after voice note. I put them into one clean folder. A folder full of betrayal. My phone rang again. Dad. I didn't answer. I just turned the sound off. Something cold and sharp settled inside me. If they wanted a fight, I would show them how I played. Then there was a knock at the door. I took a deep breath and opened it. Mom, Dad, and Victoria were standing there. Mom looked calm but fake. Dad looked angry. Victoria looked like she didn't want to be there at all. Come in, I said, staying calm as I stepped aside. They walked in. My parrot Ronnie fluffed up his green feathers and happily squawked. Call the lawyer. Mom frowned and glared at me. That thing is still here? Ronnie's family, I said, closing the door behind them. Please. Sit down. They sat on the couch, all squished together, looking like they were about to judge me. Dad cleared his throat. Let's not waste time, he said. You need to apologize for the scene you caused. You embarrassed us. I embarrassed you? I asked, leaning against the kitchen counter. Let's talk about that. I grabbed the first folder I had prepared, full of printed bank statements, and dropped it on the coffee table. Recognize these? Mom squinted at the pages. Victoria leaned in, her face going pale. Those are mine, she mumbled. No, I said. They were mine. Those are charges on my card. Spa visits, expensive bags, weekend trips, everything. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? It was a mistake, she snapped. I thought it was my card. A mistake? I asked calmly. Ronnie, what do you think? My parrot Ronnie chirped. Liar. Liar. Caught you now. Shut that bird up, Victoria growled. He's just being honest, I said. Something we should all try. I pulled out a second folder, screenshots of messages between Victoria and Mom, where they talked about using my card without asking. One message from Mom said. He won't notice. And even if he does, he won't do anything. Mom's face turned pale. We were joking, she said weakly. Joking? I repeated. Ronnie? No joke, big scam, Ronnie squawked. Dad leaned forward, his hands clenched. So what? You think finding all this makes you better than us? You still owe us. Families stick together. I laughed. When you used my money for a $3,000 lunch without inviting me? Or when you planned a whole vacation with my money and didn't even tell me? Silence. Victoria opened her mouth to speak, but I raised a hand. Not done. I'm tired of being your wallet, tired of your lies, I'm done being the joke. Mom spoke softly, desperate. We were just trying to keep everyone happy. You've always had more, you didn't need it. More? I stepped closer. You mean the life I worked for? The money I earned? The peace I tried to build? Ronnie flapped his wings. No peace, just noise. Victoria's face twisted in anger. You're bitter because no one cares about you. No, I said quietly, I'm bitter because I cared too much. I pulled out the last envelope and tossed it on the table. That's from the bank. I canceled your credit cards. Mom, your house payments, gone. Dad, your little retirement fund you were sneaking through my account, blocked. You can't do that, Mom cried. We'll lose everything. Ronnie tilted his head. Beggars can't be choosers. Dad stood up, his fist clenched. You troublemaker. Sit down, I said, cold and firm. This is my house. You came here to talk, so talk. Dad sat, his anger faded. Mom looked like she might cry. Victoria looked frozen. Mom whispered. We're family. Family helps each other. No, Mom, I said, family doesn't steal, lie, and treat one person like an ATM. So much drama, Ronnie chirped. Victoria's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Don't, I said. You're not leaving yet. You're going to hear this. You've gone too far. Victoria screamed. You think this is payback? That you're teaching us a lesson? No, I said. I'm teaching myself that I don't owe you anything. Mom started crying into Dad's shoulder. He just looked tired. I almost felt bad. Almost. But Ronnie beat me to it. Fake tears. Bye-bye, he squawked, dancing on his perch. I walked to the door and opened it. You're done here, I said. Dad muttered. We're done, son. I shook my head. I was your son when I let you use me. Now I'm just the problem you can't control. They left, one by one. No more excuses, no more lies. I closed the door. The room was quiet. Then Ronnie looked at me and said, Peace at last. Master, he added. I laughed, really laughed. Yeah, Ronnie, tea sounds good. But they didn't stop. They didn't go away. The phone calls came first, dozens. I ignored them. Then the messages. Mom, please talk to us. This was a misunderstanding. Dad, you don't get to just walk away. Answer me. Victoria, you're impossible. You ruined everything. Now you'll know how it feels to be alone. I blocked their numbers. Clean, simple. But it wasn't over. Soon, random numbers started calling, voicemails, more chaos. Dad was angry one moment, crying the next. Mom acted like the loving mother, saying I was breaking her heart. Victoria just kept blaming me, like always. Then, they tried money. One morning, I logged into my bank account and saw something surprising, a refund. Thousands of dollars. All the money they had taken, the expensive lunches, spa trips, even the cancelled vacation, it was coming back. Bit by bit, they were paying it all back. Trying to buy me off. Ronnie, my parrot, squawked from his perch. Bribe, cheap tricks. I leaned back and stared at the screen. I could imagine them, Mom crying, Dad pacing, Victoria yelling. He'll forgive us if we pay him back. But I didn't forgive them. I moved the money to a separate account and left it there. I didn't say a word. They kept messaging me. Mom, sweetheart, we returned the money. That shows we care. Please talk to us. Dad, we're your family. Is money more important than us? Victoria, I knew you only cared about cash. You're such a snake. Cash? I laughed. It was never about the money. It was about respect, and they never gave me that. I blocked their new numbers, left the family group chat, and unfollowed them everywhere. My world became quiet. Theirs didn't. Cousin Alex messaged me. Dude, what's going on? Your mom says you've lost your mind. Aunt Linda called. I'm here if you need me, but your parents are suffering. Suffering? I almost felt bad, almost. I changed my locks, set up extra security on all my accounts, changed all my passwords. They were desperate now. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried something reckless. But I wasn't scared anymore. I was free. Each morning, I woke up in my quiet apartment. I made coffee, sat by the window, watched the city wake up. No begging, no guilt, no draining phone calls. Ronnie? He was living his best life. One morning, he chirped. Guess what? No money. Guess who's begging? I smiled into my coffee. Who? Ronnie? Mommy, Daddy, Vicky. I laughed out loud. That noisy little bird was now my favorite companion, the only voice from my past I was happy to hear. But the drama wasn't over. 3 weeks later, an email showed up from Dad. It was long and desperate. Son, please, we're struggling. We gave the money back. Isn't that enough? Your mom's sick. Your sister's falling apart. You've proven your point. Please, let's be a family again. A family? They never really knew what that meant. I didn't reply. Days later, another email. This time, it had proof they had sold jewelry, trying to show they were serious. I watched from a distance as they fell apart. My aunt texted. Mom was applying for a job at a grocery store. Dad tried to borrow money from Uncle Rob, but got turned away. Victoria was asking friends for loans. And best of all, they were turning on each other. Mom blamed Dad. Dad blamed Victoria. Victoria yelled that they were all nothing without my money. That was karma. Then one rainy afternoon, I got a message from Jacob, an old friend from high school. Hey, heard about the family mess. If you're looking for a new start, I've got a project and need someone I can count on. A fresh start? Someone reliable? Words I hadn't heard in so long they almost felt strange. But I smiled. Yeah, I'm interested. After the call, I looked at Ronnie. Looks like we're moving up, buddy. He ruffled his feathers and chirped. Moving up, moving out. I bought a new couch. got brighter curtains. The apartment started to feel like a home, like mine. The next week, just as I was heading to meet Jacob, another message popped up on my phone from an unknown number. Please answer, I miss you. I didn't even need to check. Deleted. Outside, the rain had stopped, the sun was shining through. For the first time in years, I wasn't running. I wasn't hiding. I was finally free. Ronnie's voice echoed behind me from the window. Peace at last. Exactly, Ronnie, I said, smiling. Exactly. They never tried again. No more voicemails, no more fake love, just silence. But this time, the silence felt good. Peaceful. My apartment filled with light and laughter again. Ronnie danced on his perch, singing. Free bird, no bugs. He was right. Work was going great. Jacob and I launched our project, and it took off. I wasn't just someone's bank or punching bag. I was me, confident, respected, whole. Sometimes I felt a little guilt. Wondered if I had been too harsh. Then I'd remember the lies, the theft, the betrayal. That's when I realized, family isn't a title, it's a choice. And I chose to let them go. One day, a letter arrived, no name, no return address. I didn't open it, I didn't need to. I dropped it straight in the trash. The only sound in the room was Ronnie's voice, light and bright. Let go, fly free. And I did.